Hello, fellow collectors. Frank M. TTM here, back with another TTM Success video. TTM stands for Through the Mail. This is Through the Mail autographs. I have 5 autographs today to share with you. And what these autographs have in common, they all are former Major League Baseball players, and they all were World Series champions during their career. Just like that guy right there, George Herman Babe Ruth, who won 7 championships in his Major League career. Thank you for joining me. Let's get right at it. First in the box, we have a 3 for 3 in 69 days. No fee out of North Texas, Dallas, Texas. We have Mr. Daryl Evans on this 1972 Topps in action. In this 1987 Topps for the set, and in this 1981 Topps for the set. Looking sweet there. I love the blue ink with this number 11 with the Braves and 41 with the Giants and the Tigers. This is Daryl Wayne Evans. He was born on May 26, 1947 in Pasadena, California. He was a 6'2", left-handed batting, right-handed throwing, third baseman and first baseman that played during 21 seasons in the majors, 1969 to 89, with the Atlanta Braves, the San Francisco Giants, both teams for 7.5 years. Then he played 5 seasons with the Detroit Tigers, and he rounded off his career in 1989 with 1 more season with the Atlanta Braves. Before being drafted into the major leagues, he was drafted 3 times before with the Cubs, Yankees, and Phillies before he was selected in the 1967 June amateur draft by the Kansas City Athletics out of Pasadena City College. Evans played great in the A's minor league system until he suffered torn ligaments in his right shoulder, which hindered his hitting and throwing. Apparently so-called damaged goods, the A's left him unprotected in the December 1968 Rule 5 draft, and the Braves claimed him. His nickname early in his career with the Braves was Howdy, due to his perceived resemblance to the TV character Howdy Doody. Evans was a 2-time All-Star with the Braves in 73 and with the Giants in 83. A power hitter, Evans topped 20-plus home runs 10 times, including 2 40-plus home run seasons, hitting 41 with the Braves in 73 and leading the league with 40 homers with the Tigers in 1985. He was a career .248 hitter. He had 414 career home runs, which was 54th all-time on the all-time home run list, and 1,354 RBIs and 8,973 at-bats. He also got on base quite a bit, walking 1,605 times, which places 12th all-time in Major League history. At 37, he made his first postseason appearance during his first year with the Tigers in 1984, which actually was one of his worst years statistically. He just hit 16 home runs and 401 at-bats that year. The Tigers went on to defeat the San Diego Padres in 5 games for the first World Series victory since 1968, a year before Evans began playing in the majors. Evans is quoted as saying, 1984 was my best year in baseball. It had to be. How many times do you play for a World Series champion? But all in all, honestly, I wasn't happy with my numbers. I expected to do better than that. In the next year, 1985, he did do better than that. He led the league in homers. Following his career, Evans got into coaching, including with the Yankees in 1990 and minor league stints with the Tigers and Red Sox in the independent leagues. Thank you so much, Mr. Evans, for these signatures. I do appreciate it quite a bit. Next in the box, we have a 3 for 3 and 9 lightning quick days. No fee out of Brockton, Massachusetts. We have Mr. Richie Hebner on this 1984 Topps with the Pirates, and this 1981 Topps for the set with the Tigers, and in this 1985 Topps with the Cubs. So here we have Richard Joseph Hebner, who was born on November 26, 1947 in Norwood, Massachusetts. He was a 6'1" left-handed bat and right-handed throwing third baseman and first baseman that played 18 seasons in the majors, 1968 to 85. Initially not the first 9 seasons with the Pittsburgh Pirates. He played 2 seasons with the Philadelphia Phillies, a season with the season with the New York Mets, and then 2.5 seasons with the Detroit Tigers. He went back to the Pittsburgh Pirates in 82 and 83. And then he rounded off his career last 2 seasons with the Chicago Cubs. Hebner was drafted in the first round, 15th pick overall in the 1966 June amateur draft by the Pirates out of Norwood High School. With a solid bat throughout his long journeyman career, Hebner had a career .276 batting average with 203 home runs and 890 RBIs and 6,144 at-bats. He was nicknamed the Grave Digger, or just Digger, due to his off-season job as a grave digger back in his hometown of Norwood. His dad supervised 9 Jewish cemeteries in Norwood, and he started digging graves with his dad and his brother in the 9th grade, a job that he continued through his major league career even when free agency expanded his paycheck beyond 1976, and 20 years after retirement. Once his dad criticized him for digging a grave too shallow, and Hebner retorted back, "I never saw one get up from it." Another time, he said, "I must have dug 1,000 graves over the year. I like to tell people I'll be the last person to ever let them down." Hebner was a 1971 World Series champion with the Pirates, as they beat the highly favored Baltimore Orioles in 7 games. During his career, Hebner appeared in an NL record 8 league championship series. In the 1971 NLCS versus the San Francisco Giants, he had a key home runs off of future Hall of Famers Juan Marichal and Gaylord Perry. In the 1971 World Series, he hit a 3-run homer off of future Hall of Famer Jim Palmer in Game 2. In 100 career postseason at-bats, Hebner had a .270 batting average with 4 dingers and 16 RBIs. And I thank you so much, Mr. Hebner, looking cool there in blue ink. Quite awesome. Do appreciate it quite a bit. Next in the box, we have a 2 for 2, 10 quick days, no fee, out of Santa Clarita, California. We have Mr. Mark Gubba on this 87 Topps for the set. And on this 85 Topps, this is rookie card. Looking nice there. It's a simple signature there. Is that just a Goob? G? This is Stephen Gubba, Mark Stephen Gubba. He was born on August 14, 1962 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He was a 6'6" right-handed throwing starting pitcher that played 14 seasons in the majors, 84 to 97. And 13 of those seasons was with the Kansas City Royals, 84 to 96, and he had 2 starts with the Anaheim Angels in 1997, his last year. He was selected by the Royals in the 2nd round of the 1981 June amateur draft out of William Penn Charter School, High School. Growing up playing Little League, his nickname was Goob, and later in the majors, his nickname was Gooby. After a bad start with the Royals, he imagined the crowd was chanting Goob rather than boo. Goob! Goob! As a kid, he dreamed of playing for his hometown Phillies. His father, Tony, pitched in the White Sox organization before a shoulder injury and worked with young Mark, which apparently helped him become the great pitcher he became. He attended his first ever Major League Baseball game with his dad while he was in high school. It was a chilly evening on October 21st, 1980. Game 6 of the World Series at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. The Phillies took on the Kansas City Royals for the deciding game of the series. The game ended with Phillies star reliever Tug McGraw striking out Willie Wilson. A few years later, Gubba was a star pitcher with the Royals. He was twice an All-Star in 1988 and 89. He won 132 career games and lost 136 with a 3.96 ERA. striking out 1,367 and 2,239 in third innings pitch. In a five short years after watching the Phillies win the World Series, he was a World Series champion with the Royals in 1985 as they beat the St. Louis Cardinals in 7 games. Gubba did not appear in the World Series, though he appeared twice in the 1985 ALCS versus the Toronto Blue Jays. He appeared in relief in Game 1 with the Royals trailing 6-zip. He pitched 3 hitless innings as the Royals lost the game 6-1. Later in the series, as the Royals were trailing through 3 games to 2, manager Dick Hauser handed the right-hander from Philly the ball for a win-or-go-home Game 6 at Exhibition Stadium in Toronto. Gubba pitched 5 1/3 strong innings, allowing 3 runs as the Royals won the game 5-3 to win bringing the championship to Kansas City. After retiring in 1997, Gubba coached at Chaminade High School in West Hills, California, in which one of his students was future major leaguer Kevin Pillar, and has had a career in broadcasting as well. He was inducted into the Kansas City Royals Hall of Fame in 2012. Thank you so much, Mr. Gubba. Do appreciate it. Next, we have a 2 for 2 in 11 quick days, no fee, out of Baltimore, Maryland. We have Mr. Scott McGregor. And he did answer a few questions, which I'll get to in a moment. Here he is on the 1981 Topps for the set and the 1987 Topps also for the set. How many times can I say for the set? You get it. 81 and 87. This is Scott Houston McGregor. He was born on January 8th, 1954 in Inglewood, California. He was a 6'1" left-handed starting pitcher that played 13 seasons, 76 to 88 in the majors, all with the Baltimore Orioles. He was drafted by the Yankees in the first round, 14th pick of the 1972 amateur draft out of El Segundo High School, where he played with future Hall of Famer George Brett, who was a year ahead of him. After 4.5 seasons in the Yankees minor league system, he was traded to the Baltimore Orioles in a 10-player trade on June 15, 1976, making his major league debut with the Orioles that September. After solid full seasons in the majors in 1977 and 78, his first full season in the starting rotation, a turning point came in his career during the 1979 season. In 1978, he missed his last start with elbow tendonitis, an injury which lingered into 1979 spring training. Then, during his second regular season appearance start in 1979, he recalled, "I couldn't throw the ball to home plate." I said, "What happened?" It dawned on me that quickly. That's how quickly my career could end. That's how uncertain life is. He tried to pitch again 2 weeks later, then went on to the disabled list for nearly a month. It gave him a lot of time to think. McGregor continued and said, "I wasn't happy. I was using marijuana constantly. We partied heavily, and cocaine started coming on the scene. I started getting into that some. It was like go home after the game, drink 4 or 5 beers, smoke a couple of joints. It's something I couldn't break." Then McGregor prayed to Jesus Christ to take control of his life, and things changed for him. And he reflected, "Being a Christian is the greatest thing that ever happened to me," he said. "It freed me on the inside." It sounds corny to a lot of people, I know, and I understand that. It sounded corny to me for a long time too. So I say, amen, Brother Scott. Indeed. Sweet testimony there. He pitched, so he did end up pitching well when he got off the DL, posting a 13-6 record with a 3.35 ERA. It was a 20-game winner in 1980 for his first and only time during his career. He made his only All-Star appearance in 1981 and ended up being a steady workhorse in the Orioles pitching staff throughout the early and mid-80s. In all, he won 138 games and lost 108 with a 3.99 ERA, striking out 904 and 2,140 and 2/3 innings pitched. He was a world champion with the Orioles in 1983 as they beat the Philadelphia Phillies in 5 games. He had 2 starts in the World Series, losing Game 1 2-1 in a pitching duel with Phillies' John Denny. And then he won the clinch in Game 5 with a complete game shutout. Following his career, he got into youth ministry and later spent 5 years as a minister at a church in Dover, Delaware, where he returned to Baltimore area to assist the pastor. He also spent a decade in various roles in Maryland-based Orioles affiliates. Started in 2002. Had an interim stint as the Orioles bullpen coach in 2013, and spent the next 8 seasons as the Baltimore's pitch and rehab coordinator. He was inducted into the Baltimore Orioles Hall of Fame in 1993, not 83. Thank you so much, Mr. McGregor. Do appreciate it. Nice looking signature there. Awesome. And he did answer a few questions, which I always do appreciate. I love it when the players answer questions. I asked him, who was your favorite catcher to work with? That's Rick Dempsey. Toughest batter he struck out? The great Reggie Jackson. And I looked up the little stats there. He struck out Reggie Jackson 18 times in 68 plate appearances. That's a little bit about his first K. You can read that if you would like. And did you keep any memorabilia from your playing days? And he kept a few things. Thank you so much, Mr. McGregor. I do appreciate it very much. Last but not least, we have a 1-for-1 in 2 weeks, no fee, out of D.V. Daniels, New Jersey. We have Mr. Steve Balboni on this 1987 Topps, and I think he's 1 per. If I'm not mistaken, that's why I only sent out one of them. I don't know, someone else got one of these. It might be his Patrick's baseball card in TTMs, I think, maybe. Someone said on someone's channel he's 1. This is Stephen Charles Balboni, who was born on January 16th, 1957 in Boston, Massachusetts. He attended Memorial High School in Manchester, New Hampshire. He was a big 6'3", 225-pound right-handed power hitter. He played first base during 11 seasons in the majors, with the first 3 in limited playing time with the New York Yankees. 81 to 83, spent 4.5 seasons with the Kansas City Royals, half season plus with the Seattle Mariners in 88, 2 seasons with the New York Yankees from 89 to 90, and he played 2 games a few years later with the Texas Rangers in 1993. He was drafted by the Yankees in the 2nd round of the 1978 June amateur draft out of Eckerd College in St. Petersburg, Florida. His nickname was Bye-Bye because of the home runs he hit. 1985 was Balboni's best season. He had career highs in games, at-bats, hits, runs scored, doubles, triples, home runs with 36, runs batted in, and even stolen bases. He had 1. He wasn't very speedy. He also led the American League with strikeouts with 166. He was a free swinging power hitter. He set the Royals record with 36 home runs in 1985. A record which stood until 2017 when Mike Moustakas broke it. He led the AL first baseman in total chances to putouts and was the starting first baseman in the 85 World Series, where he batted .320 with 3 RBIs in the series, which the Royals won, as I already talked about. He also distributed good glove work in the field, something he wasn't known for during his career. He was a career .229 batter. He had 181 home runs and 495 RBIs and 3,120 at-bats. He has the distinction of scoring the highest percentage of his runs via the long ball in Major League history. 181 of his 351 runs were scored on home runs, or 51.6% of his runs. After his career, Steve has coached in the Kansas City Royals, Montreal Expos, and St. Louis Cardinals organizations, and scouted in the San Francisco Giants organization. Thank you so much, Mr. Balboni. I do appreciate it so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Daryl Evans, Mr. Richie Hebner, Mr. Mark Gubazar, Mr. Scott McGregor, and Mr. Steve Balboni. I do appreciate you taking your time to sign my cards and taking a little extra time, Mr. McGregor, to answer some questions. I do appreciate it so much, and I do appreciate you all joining me in another TTM Success video. I hope you're all well this week. I'm wishing you a good weekend here, and take care. God bless. Peace.